Hello, welcome back to Superboy Beyond. It's Chris and Tom here, and we're going back to the 1940s with Max Fleischer's Superman. We're going to episode 4, which is The Arctic Giant. This is a really good episode. I don't know if you've ever seen it before, Tom.
I've definitely seen it. It's the one with the dinosaur, isn't it?
Yes. So essentially, it's the equivalent of Superman taking on Godzilla before Godzilla occurred.
It's Godzilla! It looks like Godzilla, but due to international copyright laws, it's not. Still, we should run like it is Godzilla! Though it isn't. Ah!
Yeah, I seem to remember a shot of it in like walking through the city, and it's absolutely massive. So yeah, it's basically Superman versus a kaiju.
Which we'll get in about a month from now when...
That's true. That's true, yeah. I hope everybody watching, if you're a massive Superman fan, I'm guessing you've got your tickets pre-ordered. I know mine are already booked. I'm going on opening day. I can't wait.
Yep.
Seeing it a morning screening, though, just so it'll be a bit quieter in the theatre.
You'd think.
I can't stand the evening screens. I mean, maybe it will be a bit busier, but theoretically, I think most of the kids should still be in school. So,
well, here in the US, school ends this month, so if not already. I mean, I know my nephew is graduating from high school in about a week and a half.
They may have broken up by then for the holidays. We'll see. Anyway, should we get on with this?
Yep. So remember, there's not going to be any clips of the episode in our episode. It's going to be a heavily filtered version right up there, so you can keep in track with us. And we're going to count you in with a 3, 2, 1, roar! Because we got a dinosaur. So get your DVD or your Blu Ray ready, whichever one you're watching. It is episode 4, The Arctic Giant, in 3, 2, 1, roar!
Here we go.
And I know we've said this before. It just seems weird seeing the Paramount logo on a Superman cartoon.
Yeah, every time I see it, it just feels wrong. But then, it feels wrong watching Batman 1966, the movie, because doesn't that open with the 20th Century Fox logo?
Yes.
Like that feels strange. I do love this theme tune.
Yeah.
And it's not my favorite Superman theme, but I do like it a lot.
Yeah. And I love how in the cartoon itself, they refer to Jerry Siegel as Jerome Siegel. They give his full first name.
I wonder if that was something he requested, or was it a contract thing? Who knows? Superman. It's funny. I always think how short these episodes are, but I even forget. Like the first minute and a half is just the intro.
Yeah,
it's a 90-second long intro. Like that is a long intro. I guess it kept the budget down slightly since it was all reused episode to episode.
I think there's only a couple of times where they changed it up at all, and I think one of them was definitely the Mechanical Monsters, where they showed the animation of his X-ray vision a little bit.
I guess early on they were still figuring things out.
Yeah, and that was the only time that he ever used X-ray vision in the entire run of cartoons.
So yeah, I guess in this version of the DC universe, T-Rexes were about 10 times the size they actually were in reality.
Yeah.
And looked completely different as well. Like, it looks nothing like a T-Rex.
Yeah, it
But then-
definitely looks more like Godzilla
yeah.
before Godzilla.
But I guess what we think T-Rexes look like is quite possibly completely wrong. Also,
Mm.
we've only seen the bones after all. Who
Yeah,
knows? They
so-
might have had look like those wrinkly like British bulldogs where it's just like wrinkly skin going all over them. They could end up looking like those.
Or they could have been covered in feathers.
Feathers is probably more likely from some fossil records. I know that much.
Mm. And I love how Lois says to him that he'd probably be too scared to see the thing. And his response as she's walking away is, well, I don't know. Superman's never been scared of anything before.
Silly place to leave that oil can.
Yeah. And
Considering you can hear it tapping as he goes, and then he just walked away.
And that's what's going to cause our problems.
Yep. I love the use of lighting in this. Just the way that as the flashes go, you actually see the light on the people.
Yeah.
Just great attention to detail.
Plus the fact that they're using rotoscoping, and this is how rotoscoping actually, came into play. It was invented by the Fleischer studio.
And this is the kind of rotoscoping that I actually like with animation. I think sometimes people go a bit too far, and it ends up looking just like Uncanny Valley all the time. This is just stylish enough in terms of like the animation style to not quite go into that territory, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The only complaint I have about the animation is I've always thought that Lois doesn't have enough detail on her face. I don't know why. So everybody else has got a ton of detail on the faces that show a lot of expression. Lois doesn't seem to have very much.
I think they really, with Lois, were trying to adapt Joe Shuster's artwork.
Maybe, yeah. Or maybe they just found that the more lines they added to her face, like the older she looked or something, and they wanted to keep her looking pretty.
Could
Which
be.
I guess makes sense as well, because let's face it, Lois Lane is famously a very attractive woman.
Well, at least he didn't destroy the train.
I don't know, seeing the animation with this giant monster going around, part of me wishes that, they'd actually made a Godzilla like animated series with the Fleischers, because I think they would have knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Like a 10-episode run of like Godzilla attacking various cities and fighting Mecha King Kong or Mothra or whatever,
Yeah. Well, the problem is that Godzilla wasn't out there for another 13 years.
True, yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
And the Fleischer studio went out of business, I think, like 1951 or 52.
Fair enough. Yeah, because the original Godzilla's in black and white. For some reason, I always assume it was a lot earlier than it was. Yeah, part of the lack of detail on Lois's face, it almost looks like she doesn't have a chin in most of the shots. It's like her head just goes straight into her neck. It's just strange for me. I don't know, it's literally the only complaint I have about the animation. Well, that shot there definitely inspired Richard Donner, we can tell that much. I wonder if Richard Donner could have got away with having a giant monster if he would have done that in a sequel.
Well, that's a possibility. He might have done something like that.
Because it's funny how there are
He hadn't
multiple
been fired.
shots in this episode that are basically remade in Superman the movie. Like, he must have been a fan of this episode, because that doesn't just happen by accident, surely. And I wonder if George Lucas was inspired by this moment when he did Empire Strikes Back with the AT-ATs.
It's a good possibility. I mean, George is old enough that he would have seen these, as a kid.
And he was a fan of this sort of era of filmmaking and stuff. Flash Gordon was a big inspiration on it. Or was it Buck Rogers, actually, I'm thinking of?
It was actually Flash Gordon. He actually wanted to make Flash Gordon, but he couldn't secure the rights, so that's why we got Star Wars.
That's when he turned it into Star Wars. Makes sense. Oh, can you imagine if he'd actually gotten the rights? I wonder if Flash Gordon would just be like the biggest sci-fi franchise in the world at this point.
It probably would have been.
Although maybe not, because he wouldn't have had the rights to the merchandising, so he wouldn't have pushed so much for toy sales. And let's face it, all those early toys and comics and stuff before the movie even came out are why it was such a blockbuster.
Yeah.
Like, it was just the best marketing campaign of all time up to that point. Anyway, that was a really fun episode. The Arctic Giant, which it's interesting. Everybody always talks about the mechanical monsters, but you can see in this things that have been picked up and brought back decades and decades later in other things. It can't all be coincidence. Maybe something might be, but yeah, there's got to be some of it has got to be intentional, surely.
Yep, it's like George Lucas would put it. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah, I guess it is. So yeah, should we give this episode a score out of 10?
Yeah.
I'd give this an easy 8.5. This was really solid. Everything from the animation to the way the action was set about, the way they stopped the monster with the wire is just. There's a reason that's in Empire Strikes Back. It's just, if you're going to deal with a kaiju or something like that, that's kind of a brilliant way to do it. It makes sense. Just a really, really solid episode. It's funny with these shows. I almost wish that they were twice the length, but I'm not sure the show would even be as good if it was. I think the fact that it's pretty much just all action is part of what makes this show special. I'm not sure if it's worth doing animation if you're going to do an episode where it's just Lois and Clark investigating a story. You couldn't do a Lois and Clark Dean Cain episode in animation because there'd be no point. Because most of it would be sitting around the Daily Planet in talking to Perry White. It would be so much of that going on because it was all the investigating stuff. You might as well just do it in live action.
Agreed.
Yeah. Part of me thinks now we should actually watch some episodes of Justice League Action at some point. There's some pretty good episodes in there. I know there's a Mixers Pitlick episode.
There's a couple of Mixers Pitlick episodes, and it's Gilbert.
Oh, fantastic! So yeah, maybe at some point we'll watch some of those. Just the fact that Justice League Action is just the action as well. Well, it has some character stuff too. I won't dismiss that stuff. Yeah, it's very much like a modern Fleischer in terms of the style.
And they got some really good casting choices in it. Sean Astin is back as Captain Marvel. And I call him Captain Marvel. I'm not calling him Shazam.
Yeah, I always think of him as Captain Marvel.
But the interesting thing about it is who they got to play Uncle Dudley in it. They got John Astin, his father. So this would be the second superhero-related project that John Astin was a part of.
Yeah, because he was Riddler as well, wasn't he?
Yep.
Do you know, I didn't know that Sean Astin was the son of John Astin. I had no idea that they were related. I just assumed it was... Wow. Huh. Okay. So yeah, maybe at some point we'll start watching Justice League Action. I can't remember how many seasons it went for. It was only a couple, I think.
I have it up on my shelf. I have 2 volumes of it. So.
Okay. Oh, it lasted 1 season, but that season contained 50 episodes. Sorry, 52 episodes.
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, I guess it was similar to what was that other show we watched recently where it had a season? No, it was Batman 66, wasn't it? I said to you, wow, there's like 50 episodes in just season 1 alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, at some point we'll have to watch that. I don't know if we'll just watch the Superman specific ones, but I think it might be fun just to watch it from episode 1 and just work through, because I've only seen bits and pieces of that show.
Yeah. One thing funny about it is they did bring back a lot of previous actors who've played characters before, like, as I said, Sean Astin, who played the voice of Captain Marvel.
Was Conroy Batman in it?
Yes, Conroy was back as Batman.
Hamill returned as well, didn't he? As Joker.
Yes, Hamill was back as the Joker and the Trickster.
Now, which Superman voice did they go with? Was it Newburn or was it the other guy?
It was a new guy.
Huh. Was he any good?
He was okay. Who they had as Lex Luthor was very interesting.
Who was Lex Luthor?
James Woods.
I kind of like that casting.
And
I don't like James Woods particularly, but I like that casting.
He played him kind of like a cross between, 1960s Silver Age Lex and Gene Hackman.
Interesting. I can see James Woods being a decent sort of corporate Lex with a little bit of that Silver Age. Yeah. There was a show I used to like that he starred in. I think he played a lawyer. I think it was called Shark. I could have been wrong. And I think his daughter in it was played by one of the Panabaker girls. I don't know if it was the one who was in The Flash or if it was the sister. But it might have been the one that was in No Ordinary Family, thinking about it, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I remember really liking that show, and then it was just cancelled. So, oh well.
Let's find out.
It was very much just House MD, but in a lawyer's office.
No, it actually was Danielle.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was one of the sisters. I just don't remember which one it was. But yeah, it was a good show. It was basically just House, but in a lawyer's firm instead.
And it lasted 2 seasons.
Huh. Maybe that's a show I'll revisit at some point. I don't know. But either way, this episode, 8.5. I think that's a pretty fair score.
Yep.
Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next week. I think we're going to watch an episode of Super Friends next week. So, yeah, look forward to that.
Viacom.